Hello and welcome back on this dark, cold and gloomy winter's morning. Today we're going to be doing some overcast wildlife photography because the weather today is not set to be good. It's set to be cloudy all day with a small chance of rain. So we're hoping the rain doesn't come, but if it's cloudy, then that's going to be fine because I'm going to be showing you how I take my wildlife photos when it's a dark and gloomy day. Now, as you can see, the sun hasn't risen, and so I've come out here nice and early so I can get a head start, so I can come out here for when the sun rises, and I'm going to take you along with me. So without further ado, let's get on with the wildlife photography. So we have an amazing sunrise here, as you can see behind me, but I thought I'd tell you what I'm going to be using today. Today I have my Canon 250D, I have the Sigma 150 to 600mm contemporary lens, and then I also have my Sigma 105mm macro lens. So hopefully we will have an incredible day where we find lots of wildlife, but this sunrise is insane. I'm just loving watching it develop. I think I'm going to leave you there and just do a time lapse so you can see what happens with the sun. And the sunrise has come to an end, but while it was going, I tried to get some photos of birds flying in front of it. As birds flew across the orange glow of the sunset, I tried to take some photos. Now, I didn't get that many results. Unfortunately, some geese flew in front of it just before I got my camera out, and they were kind of the inspiration. I saw the geese flying across and was like, I need to get a photo of that. And then they never flew across it again, but I got some seagulls and some crows, so here are those photos. So I've come to a lake here, and there's quite a few birds on the other side of the lake. There's some Canada geese, there's some widgeon, and there's also some coots. The birds are very aware of me, so they're keeping their distance, which means I'm probably not going to get any good photos. However, I am still taking some photos because water birds are a very good thing to photograph on an overcast day. You see, when it's bright sunlight and daylight, all of that reflects on the water, whereas today when you've got a nice soft light, you get nice soft reflections and you just get a soft, creamy look in the water almost, which makes it not too harsh. Also, the water reflects the light from the clouds, so although there's not much light altogether, the light from the sky reflects on the water to the birds, so you can still shoot with a decent ISO without the images being too noisy. So I'm shooting at ISO 1600. I try not to go higher than this. I could go up to 3200, but I don't want to. So 1600 is the ISO I'm playing with. I also have a shutter speed of 100 and an f-stop of 6.3, which is as low as this lens will let me. We need to keep the shutter speed and f-stop as low as possible because they are what is going to brighten the image on a dull day like today. And it means I do have my tripod. Now, if you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, you'll know I often just shoot handheld. It's my favorite way to shoot. I feel like there's lots of freedom when you do it. However, on a day like today, where it is very overcast and I need that shutter speed to be lower, I have gone for the tripod because it allows me to lower it and still get some good quality images. So I'm going to hang around and try and get a few more photos, and I'll show them to you now. And I'm now on a bridge, and there's lots of bird song, but there was a jackdaw up in this tree behind me. Now, one of the things I normally say is don't shoot up into the sky. You don't want the sky as a background because the sky is bright, and so it'll often make your image either too dark because it'll expose for the sky and not the animal you're photographing, or you could get some chromatic aberration if you're using a lens which is not the most professional lens. Now, these are things which can both be fixed in post-processing, but ideally it's not. However, on an overcast day, the sky isn't so bright, so it's still not ideal. But these are the photos I took of the jackdaw. Again, very low shutter speed and quite a high ISO, but we'll see what we can do. We can remove some of the noise afterwards, and these are the images we're left with. So it's always worth shooting these photos, even if they're not good quality, just to have them and get experience. So I saw the jackdaw and I took the photos, even if it's not ideal. Okay, so I was talking about water birds and how water is great for light on an overcast day. Now, I'm on a canal. Over here is a canal, but behind me on the other side, there's just some flooded woods. And often there's nothing in here, maybe there's a few ducks. But I was walking across here and I kind of caught in the corner of my eye some bright orange, and I was like, what's that? And I stopped and I looked for a bit longer, and there were mandarin ducks. But not one or two, there was a whole flock of them, and some of them were up in the trees, some were in the water. Now, they're very shy birds, and I don't think they're used to people stopping and looking at them. Obviously, people just walk by and don't notice them. I happened to notice them and stopped, and when I got my camera out to take photos of them, they started to move away. They just swam away very quietly. Now, I'm not sure where they've got to now, but I did get a few photos. So, an awesome animal, which I don't think has featured on this channel yet. I've seen them at Bushy Park a couple of times and on the River Thames, but I'm not sure they've been in a video. So here are the photos of the mandarin duck. Okay, so I'm gonna have to be a bit quiet because we found a fox, and the fox is sleeping. I was walking along this path and I kind of looked in again to the trees and I saw this lump and I was like, what is that? I'm not sure what it is. I got my binoculars out thinking I might as well check. It could have literally just been a stump, but anyway, it was a sleeping fox. Now, to get the photos of this fox, again, it's a very dark area, but we can get some beautiful photos. So, I have my camera set up on the tripod. That meant I was using a shutter speed of 1/10 of a second, ridiculously low shutter speed, which wouldn't be possible handheld. I had a timer on the shutter, and because I had the tripod out, I could do that. So I put my shutter on a 2-second timer. That meant when I clicked the screen, it would wait 2 seconds. That would allow the camera to stop shaking, and it would then take the photo with 1/10 of a second. And because the fox isn't moving, nothing is moving, we're getting some beautiful images doing that. I've also taken a short bit of film. He is moving his ears as people walk by. He's kind of following them with his ears, which is cool to see. But we're not going to hang around too long because the fox isn't actually doing anything. It's literally just sleeping. So we'll get some good photos, get a bit of video, and then move on. Okay, and I just got some photos of some great tits. Now, we're still on the canal. If you watch my wildlife walks where I go out and I do this walk and I find the wildlife, I often find very little on the canal. I end up finding things on the golf courses, but we've spent so long on the canal today and we found so many awesome animals that I don't think we're gonna have time for the golf course. So anyway, we found some great tits here, and they were down on the grass in the autumn leaves. Now, I took some photos and I have not checked what they look like on the camera. So I will check that now, and hopefully it won't be too bad, but one of them has just come back. So I think I'm going to carry on taking photos, and I'll show you those photos now. And we have just got some more awesome photos. In this bush behind me, it's this lovely green bush, and there's lots of twigs on my side of the bush which just stick out without leaves on them. And there's loads of siskin. Now this is the first time I've actually been able to photograph siskin. I've seen them before, but I've never managed to photograph them before, so we've got another first. There's also some robins hopping around. I didn't get many photos of them because I was focusing on the siskin, and we got some beautiful photos. Now I just want to jump in and say this has been an amazing trip. I've been out for about 3 hours now, and we've seen some amazing wildlife landscapes. We've got that beautiful sunrise, and then we've got mandarin ducks, we've had foxes, great tits, siskin. We're getting some wonderful wildlife. So yeah, I'm just really grateful for what we're seeing today. And here are the photos of the siskin. And we are now on the farm. However, we're not actually going to be taking any photos here today because we spent so much time on the canal. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I gave you my kind of tips and what I do and some examples of how I take wildlife photos on an overcast day. It's been a great trip for me. We've had firsts, we've had a great time, and we've learned a lot. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and make sure to go join my Reddit. The link is in the description. You can share the things you're up to and photos you're taking, or anything you would like me to react to in a future video. And with all that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.